What's up everybody, Patrick from WP Builder Helper, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the differences between LiveCanvas and Oxygen Builder. It's been highly debated and people want to kind of talk about it, so people had voiced their opinions down below. So we're going to take and we're going to answer it today. Which one do I think you should buy and which one do I think you should kind of maybe wait on, or whatever the case is. So we'll go through all the different technical details and then I'll give you my final impressions. All right, so let's get started. Welcome back everybody. So there's nothing like the feeling of knowing that you just wasted 20 minutes when you had your website mic camera on rather than your other mic, which is a higher, more professional sounding mic, and you go back and you listen to it and you realize what a nightmare did you just create. So point being, we're taking and we're looking at Oxygen and LiveCanvas in this. Let's take a look at the differences of these and kind of go through them. And I thought one of the best places to start is let's start with just a regular test to see how they rank compared to speed. And we won't go into deep analysis of this, but needless to say, you know, a homepage is a homepage. It's your representation of your product. So if the homepage isn't working good, then it kind of says something about your product. Not saying that that's always true, but sometimes it's true. So if we go here and we look at Oxygen, once again, the performance grade is not what you're looking for. You're looking for that load time and the page time. That load time is 1.28 seconds and the page speed is 1 megabyte, which is really good page speed and load time. This is 2.2 seconds and 9.26 KB. Once again, another really good time. That's great. That's really great. In all reality, that's fantastic. The score does not matter as much as your load time and your page time. All right, so now let's take a look at LiveCanvas and let's copy LiveCanvas's website. Once again, this doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's not going to give you a complete test. It's not going to give you a complete idea of which one is better, which one is worse, but I think that it's useful to kind of compare the two because once again, you get to see what a website's made out of, and that's very important, at least for me. So here you can see the load time is quite a bit higher. It's 1.96 seconds, and the page size is actually huge. So there's a lot of things that they can do to kind of reduce this. But the page size is huge, got a lot of requests and things like that. That's probably from videos because they added a lot of videos, whereas Oxygen doesn't have as many videos on. As a matter of fact, they don't have any. Their videos, you actually have to click to watch the video, which is probably pretty smart. So it helps them reduce that page size. So they've got some decent page size that's on here, and that's a load time that's pretty huge, and that's something that, you know, could be fixed. Once again, I don't look at these scores and say, ooh, which one is better, which one is worse, but I want you to know what kind of things you can run into. Now, obviously, for somebody who's very skilled, you can optimize this, and you could get both of these sites down. But these are decent page size. I wouldn't say the page size for this page needs to be reduced by some way, some method. That's just too big. Modern, you know, phones and everything like that, they can handle that. It's not, you know, the best for it. It's not the worst I've ever seen. I've seen pages that go up to 50 megabytes. So you get into that and you're like, wait, why is my page loaded and it's taking 12 seconds to load or something like that, or 30 seconds? And, you know, those kind of things are the things I consider really bad. These are within range. They could be optimized a little bit better, but that's neither here nor there. So let's compare the difference between the pricing of these two models. So there's definitely some pricing differences. So with LiveCanvas, you're getting $79 per year, and it comes with unlimited websites if you choose Pro, or you could do Lifetime for $199 a year, and it's got build unlimited websites, lifetime updates, lifetime support, which I think is pretty cool for this pricing. I love lifetime pricing. I know that it's not feasible forever, but I think that it's a really cool package, and I'm glad that they're adding it in here because it keeps everything more competitive. It keeps everybody on their toes. And Oxygen, you can see for the basic Oxygen Builder itself, it's only $99, and that's a one-time fee. And if you want WooCommerce integration, that's $149. And if you want agency integration, that includes the Gutenberg builder, then it's $169. So what the agency builder allows you to do is it actually allows you to convert Oxygen pages into Gutenberg. That's what it does. So it'll convert your whole entire page into Gutenberg. So that's really great for clients. So for me, if one of the questions you're going to be asking yourself is, am I doing this for clients? Which one is better? If you're doing this strictly for clients, then I gotta say, I think Oxygen wins that fight. I think pricing, they're about the same. I've tried support on both of these builders, and I think both of their support is decent. It's not bad on either. I think there's some places they can tighten up. I've seen some complaints in the forums, at least for Oxygen, about people not getting reacted to quick enough or whatever the case. Another thing I don't know is how big each team is. I don't know how big this team is. I don't know how big Oxygen's team is. I know it seems like Oxygen has a ton more people than what we've gotten from here, but that's not necessarily, this is a brand new builder to me. I don't know how long it's been around, but my guess is it hasn't been around for all that long. I wonder if their blog even has, let's go to their change log. So this is one useful thing with a change log, is sometimes you can go through here. It doesn't have a date on it though. I wish it did. I could actually go through and see when it came out, but you can see all of these updates are relatively new. So it probably came out in 2019, maybe beginning or end of 2019, and kind of it's made its way through here now. So both of these are moving at a pretty good speed. I like both of them. I like the fact that they're both allowing, you know, they're having changes happen. They're doing release candidates. They're doing betas. They're doing all kinds of things like that. They've got shape dividers. Both of them have that. So I think that that's really good. So let's take a jump into one of the builders. Let's jump into the Oxygen builder. So in here, one thing that I've seen on the forums that people get confused about is the themes. Oxygen Builder does not use themes. So if you're taking and you're trying to get this for the specific purpose of using a theme, then you're going to be in trouble here. And the same thing goes with LiveCanvas. LiveCanvas actually uses Custom Strap. While you could use LiveCanvas with another theme if you wanted to, most of the functionality comes from Custom Strap. So if you don't have Custom Strap installed, then you know you're kind of screwed in some ways, because it's a child theme to the Bootstrap on WordPress. So you can use any Bootstrap theme, which is really, really nice, but then this brings up a very, very important point. If you're someone who is not familiar with Bootstrap, maybe you're brand new to CSS and maybe you're brand new to HTML, then I could see where someone would probably pick Oxygen over that, just because if we take and we look at this site and we go through and we look at a page, let's add a new page. And forgive that, those are all the pages that I was including. So let's just say test page. And we're going to publish it because you have to publish first. And we go into Oxygen. And I want to compare these just so you can see the difference between them, because there is quite a big difference. If you're someone who's brand new, you may not understand what some of these things are, but you know, you've got headings here, you've got text, you've got buttons that you can add in. So you know, this has got all of those different things. If you want to add a video, here's a video. You know, you've got the ability to take and do that. So Oxygen's got more of a clickier setup. Bootstrap's still got that, and actually if I opened up a Bootstrap tab, which I probably should, just so we can compare. I mean, not Bootstrap, I keep calling it Bootstrap. LiveCanvas. You know, let's compare a page. Let's do a test page, and you'll see this will bring in our header and footer. So, you know, forgive my header and footer. This was during a previous example when I was talking about LiveCanvas. They had just added in the ability to do headers and footers. So you'll see my ugly header right here, and then my ugly footer. So it's got kind of similar. You've got a grid builder here. You know, you can build 1 column, 2 column, 3 columns. The biggest problem with this is that that's great, but Oxygen allows you a little bit more, I would say. a little bit more flexibility, but then from the columns you can go in and you can add in headers, and you can add in text, you can add in images, icons, block quotes, buttons. You can add in embeds, YouTube. So it's got a lot of the same features that you see from Oxygen. The same stuff, essentially. There's probably a little bit more in Oxygen because obviously it's got galleries, easy post repeaters. It's got, it's been in development a lot longer than LiveCanvas. It's also got design sets and things like that. But the point being that both of these are pretty decent builders to me. I mean, to me, they're decent builders. I think that there's some things that you got a history here, you've got download as HTML, so you've got some things that you can do with this builder. The biggest problem to me from a standpoint of someone, it depends on your, every project has a different goal in mind. If you're someone who is buying this for their company, LiveCanvas isn't a bad choice if you're buying it for your company and you want something that's fast, you want something that's efficient, but you better know how to edit in HTML and CSS. So for instance, let's take this block. So if we go in this block, obviously I could remove anything from here that I want to just by taking and just deleting it just like that. If I could remove quick, I could remove that. Anything I can remove from here. But if I want to remove this text, you got to make sure that you're going into HTML and making sure that you've removed the P tag, which is in the text, because you don't just have a header tag in here. You can obviously put something on a page that is just a header if you just type in the HTML for it, but you don't have something that's just a header. And whereas Oxygen has a specific header text, rich text, those type of things that you can kind of go in and edit. So for instance, if we click rich text, for instance, you'll see that it's got a different menu where you can go in and you can edit this more easily. And you can still edit it just the way that you can with the other one. So just by clicking on it, I can go in and edit this. If I click on this, I can go in and edit the text for the button and just call it button. I mean, there's so much flexibility with both of these that I don't think that one is better than the other in that case. I think the flexibility of not having columns and using divs and things like that, it's also got some layout like flex box controls and floats and displays. So you've got basically everything that you're used to. Oxygen's still going to require some kind of coding. So I can't say for sure that Oxygen's better than LiveCanvas when it comes to coding, but it just requires less of it. And that less is what makes it much easier to use in a setting where you're building something for clients or whatever. It's also got the Gutenberg Editor, which is just fantastic, and it's something that cannot be overstated. The Gutenberg Editor basically will allow you to build a page for Oxygen, and everything included in here will be editable by Gutenberg. That is so unique because most clients are going to be using Gutenberg whether they like it or not, just because WordPress is using Gutenberg. Now, if you have a client that does not care, they don't care what you build with, and you want to build something, I think you could give LiveCanvas a try. LiveCanvas has some great things going for it. It's just, I don't think it's customer friendly enough yet. I don't think it's to the point where I would give this to a customer and say, okay, Mr. Customer, yes, you can go make changes to things, but oh, sorry, you don't know HTML and CSS, so it's going to be really, really hard for you to change that. Whereas as a designer, you probably could, because you can play with the different things and all of that. I've also said it requires you to know Bootstrap, and that's a big thing too. If you're somebody who maybe doesn't know Bootstrap, you may be at a loss for this builder. So I think you got to play with all of the tools in your toolbox and look at which one is right for you. So if I'm comparing them today, right now, for me, I think there's more uses for Oxygen today, right now. But also remember, LiveCanvas is a brand new builder. You have to give it time. And for the time that they've been around, they've been fantastic because they now have headers and footers. They have all of that. You've got section dividers. You've got all of that included, and it's a much lighter package than some other builders. So I think that you look at those things and you say, well, where is this builder going to be in another year, another 2 years? It just all depends. They could be in totally different places. Oxygen could be in a totally different place. If Oxygen goes to a more monthly pricing, it becomes less competitive than the yearly pricing, but I don't think that this is also, I don't think they can stay on this model, but I do like this model that you can kind of pick and choose. Like if you want the lifetime pricing, that's great. We'll give you the lifetime pricing, but it doesn't include certain things. So if I don't want to use WooCommerce, then I could just buy this because I don't need WooCommerce. But if I need the Gutenberg block editor, then I have to pick this. I mean, it just gives you that added functionality. If you're somebody who wants WooCommerce, but you don't ever want to design for clients and you don't ever want to use Gutenberg, you can kick it out, $149, and it's a one-time payment. I mean, that's pretty cool. So, also, let's talk about WooCommerce for a second, I should say. Oxygen has it, but I want you to realize something. You can build full WooCommerce pages because it's got cart buttons, product images. It shows you right here all the different things that you can build. So you can build a page. Can you do that with LiveCanvas? Sure, but you're going to be using WooCommerce shortcodes, which means you're going to have to custom code all of the changes that you want with CMS, CSS, and HTML. So that's much harder than somebody who can go in and drop these product codes and then use sliders and navigation and things like that. And I think that that's where you're missing out with LiveCanvas. LiveCanvas is great for a hardcore coder, somebody who just wants to code stuff from scratch with no issues whatsoever, like just coding everything just straight up because they just want that code. But if you're not somebody who wants that code, you don't want those type of things, you'd rather have a point and click, then I think that Oxygen it does the job. It's got so many different things that you can just point and click, and you can add galleries in and this and that. It's very, very cool that it allows you to do that. So for me, today, my ultimate impressions, I'm going to give you my ultimate impression of where I feel both of these builders are. So I'll stop right there, but we'll be right back. All right, so this was more of a face-to-face conversation than trying to take and point out everything that could be the difference between Oxygen and LiveCanvas. So I wanted to make sure I went over all the details. So Oxygen obviously has the WooCommerce builder, it has the Gutenberg builder. LiveCanvas doesn't have any of that yet. It's very basic when it comes to those type of things. It's also got some things that probably need to improve on because it's got sections, but it doesn't have full design websites. I'd love to see that included. I think even Brizzy, Divi, and a couple of other ones have that included. So that would be nice to get some full design websites so that we can go in and customize them as we need to. It just makes it much, much quicker. It's something that you see a lot of people doing, and I don't think you can kind of forgive those things. It's something that needs to be included because everybody's doing it right now. So it's one of those things where you can't not do it just because you don't believe in it where everybody else does. So it raises the bar. It's the level where page builders are right now, and I've always said that there's that level. Once you see that level raise and tick and tick and tick higher and higher, it gets harder for less competitive page builders to kind of stay in the game because they're realizing they're investing so many resources into getting where Divi is and where Elementor is. And if you're not going to be those page builders, then you need to find some way to step out. Now, LiveCanvas has done that and given you the ability to say, hey, I want HTML and I want CSS and I want it to work beautifully. And when I turn off that builder, I don't want there to be any code left behind. LiveCanvas does that, so there's some unique features there. So for me, if I had to grade them, Oxygen's like a 9 out of 10, and I think that LiveCanvas is probably closer to like a 7.5, maybe even a 7 out of 10. It's just not there yet. There's things that they need for it, but I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing, and I think if you're missing that pricing, then you're really, really shooting yourself in the foot because it's a lifetime pricing deal, so it's only going to get better with time. They just added in headers. I fully expect they're going to add in way more stuff later on down the line. I can't wait to see what it's going to add. So I think that both builders are great. It just depends on what your project is. And I think that that's something that I can't decide. That's something that only you can decide. And the best way to decide is to figure out whether you're doing it for a client or whether you're doing it for a personal side business that you're trying to do. If you're doing it for a personal side business, either of them is great. If you're doing it for a client, I'm going to choose Oxygen over LiveCanvas every time, just because it's that much easier. I would choose it just right off the bat. If you're working with WooCommerce, I would choose Oxygen over LiveCanvas. It's just got more functionality. And those are the type of things that you need to look at and you need to decide for yourself. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video, you've liked it, you've given it that thumbs up, and you're doing all that. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope that this has kind of broken down some of the problems that you may see with both of the builders and where I think they both are, because they both have very unique specialties, and I think that they're doing a good job with what they're using. I just think you need to give them more time and see where it goes from there, and maybe then choose later on down the road when LiveCanvas is a little bit more developed than it is today currently. So this is me signing off, and I will see you guys next time.